Have you struggled to buy toilet roll recently? Or while looking, have you thought, this is crazy, why is everyone acting like this? Well, economists would put forward the argument that everyone currently stockpiling is actually acting rationally, or at least in line with how economists would expect them to behave, due to a branch of mathematics called game theory. Here's a famous example you may have heard of. It's called the prisoner's dilemma. You and I burgle a house and severely injure the occupant. We then burgle another house the following night while the owners are away, but are caught red-handed. The police keep us in separate cells and want to pin the robbery and assault from the previous night onto us both, believing us to have committed it despite having no evidence. The only way they can charge us for the assault is if you or I snitch on each other. If we both snitch, we are both going to jail for a long time, as the police will know we were both there. Even worse, if you remain silent but I snitch on you, I walk away scot-free and you go to jail for life. This also applies vice versa if you snitch and I refuse to say anything. If we both remain silent, we are both only charged with the second burglary and will only get a 1-year sentence each due to the non-violent nature of the crime. I'll give you a few seconds to make your choice. Pause if you'd like a little bit longer. You can snitch or stay quiet. Make it now. 3, 2, 1. So what did you do? Well, I snitched, meaning if you didn't, I'm getting away with it and you're now locked up for life. If you snitched too, we are both in for a very long stretch. Now you may say, hang on, why would you snitch? It was clearly best for us both if we both stayed quiet. You're right, it is best for us both if we had stayed quiet, but it's not best for me. I'd rather you stayed quiet and I snitched, and then I get to walk away from this. Let's have a look at how an economist would analyse the game. If I think you're going to snitch, then what's my best option? Well, I may as well snitch too, as that will give me 20 years instead of a life in jail. If I think you're going to stay quiet, then I'll definitely snitch so that I can get away with no time in jail instead of 1 year. So no matter what you do, snitching will get me the least time in jail. Your payoffs are the same as mine, so your logical decision should be to snitch too. Game theory is all about making a decision based on what you think your opponent is going to do and reacting accordingly. It was also the subject of my dissertation at university. So how do we end up with the best strategy for us both, i.e. both snitching, resulting in a clearly suboptimal outcome? This was the question posed by John Nash while studying at Princeton University in 1950 for his PhD. He saw that often in society, when everyone does what's best for themselves, then the group does not end up with an optimal outcome. Think back to our example. Both of us acting selfishly meant we both ended up with 20 years in jail, the worst possible joint outcome. Nash recognised that we can only achieve the optimal outcome of us both only getting a year in jail if we work together. Nash's research resulted in a Nobel Prize in economics, as well as a Hollywood biopic being made about his life, A Beautiful Mind, starring Russell Crowe and Ed Harris. It's regarded as one of the greatest films ever, and is worth watching for the game theory scene alone. So what would Nash have to say about the current stockpiling of toilet paper? Well, instead of a burglar, you are now a shopper trying to get hold of some of this scarce paper. Your opponents in this game are the rest of the public. You have two options: stockpile toilet paper or not stockpile toilet paper. Let's draw up the game theory matrix like before. Have a look at your options and remember that in game theory, you must consider what your opponent will do and react accordingly. So, take a few seconds, pause if you need to, have a think about what you think is best here. Like the prisoner's dilemma, hopefully you've discovered that your best strategy here to get toilet paper is to stockpile yourself. This is especially true as you know full well that this is what everyone else is doing at the moment. However, as is often the case in economics, our experiment here is far too simple. By stockpiling, and by everyone else stockpiling, we know the shelves will be empty. which is the case we've seen over the last couple of weeks in the UK. All choosing to stockpile means we run the risks of vulnerable people not getting any. Like Nash said earlier, we must put society first instead of acting for ourselves. This is the same way we will contain coronavirus. We have to work together. We have to listen to the government's advice. And most importantly, we must stop being selfish and doing what is best for ourselves. The only way we will get through this is to realise we are all in this together and put the best interest of the group before our own. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. I normally do videos about investing and the stock market, but I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to talk about game theory. If anyone you know is hoarding, maybe send them this to see if they'll change their approach. Please don't buy more than you need. Think of others, and we can all get through this. Stay safe.